Hello, bonjour, ok, tenzi. My name is Mireille Perron and I welcome you in my Calgary studio. This is the third video of a series of 4 around my project titled The Anatomy of a Glass Menagerie Altaglass. This was the exhibition that was supposed to be scheduled at the Esplanade Gallery, but obviously because of COVID-19 we are all staying home safe. So in this video, I would like to show you how to do your own cyanotype. In this project, I had borrowed 113 objects from the Altaglass collection from Menagerie, and I was doing cyanotype of those objects. So, I'm showing you a few examples. The catalog is online if you want to see it. So what do you need to do your own cyanotype? The first thing you need is cyanotype paper, so photosensitive paper. There is many companies who do it. Usually they are all good, so I suggest you find the one that is the least expensive. My suggestion is nature print paper. You often find it in educational site. This is what I'm using today. It was 40 sheet for about $22. Sun Art is another company that does paper that is not expensive. The Cyanotype company is another company that does cyanotype paper. This is an American company. It usually costs slightly more. So you need cyanotype paper. You need the sun, obviously, but this is Alberta, no problem with that. You need water in basin. You need peroxide if you want to have deeper blue, but it's not a compulsory. It's easy to find. It's used also in kit, usually to disinfect wound. Do you see? It was in camping kit. Do you see? You need newspaper. You need a towel. Your enemy is wet finger in between. You need a heavy book to, after that, press very well those cyanotype. In the previous video, I was showing you this cyanotype, already done, of this Altaglass object, that little swan from Altaglass. This afternoon, what we are going to use is this little Altaglass rabbit. And in homage to Anna Atkins, like I've done in the exhibition, this little twig from my garden, and we will put them together to see. So here I'm taking a sheet, a 5x7 sheet. This one was from the Nature Print. And I'm showing you what I've done to get ready for that. So this is what the paper looks like. Because it's photosensitive, it's obviously already in a black envelope, so keep your envelope, it's important to see. And it's blue. So at this point, what I did is that I put that piece of paper, my little rabbit, my little twig, and I went outside in the sun for 3 minutes at 4 o'clock today. So a piece of cardboard is a good idea too. You know, like I carried the little paper. Do you see? So the result of that is what we are going to develop together. Usually the exposure for that paper, it's in between 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the sun. So after the exposure, here is what we have, my first attempt. And you will see the color will inverse because obviously, so that was the little rabbit. Do you see? And then I did another one, thinking I should add a little twig, like Anna Atkins and like I've done in my exhibition. So this is what we are going to develop. So you see the result right away. And then I will give you a few tip and trick. Obviously, I'm encouraging you to use the Altaglass because we are trying to play around my exhibition. But if you don't have any Altaglass object, I would suggest that you try to use glass. There's something interesting about glass because of its reflection. So here I'm showing you, for example, something that will make a very nice cyanotype because it's a nice cut glass bottom. But you could use any object that you find the contour interesting. So here we have our 2 exposed for 3 minutes outside 4 o'clock sun. I'm putting them here one by one in the first basin, in which I've put 3 inches of water and half a cupful of peroxide. If you don't have any peroxide, you will simply have a lighter blue. Do you see? And here, obviously, you could use your sink. Here, it's because of the video, my sink is in the dark. So here, this was my camping basin, and this one, I had a sweater. So anything that contained water is fine. So you move them a bit, so it's all well developed, and you could see it's getting darker and darker. So because I've done some, this is the maximum blue, so I know it's the maximum blue. So here you see I have the Altaglass little rabbit with a very nice imprint of the twig that I've used beside. Let's see. And I like because the glass, you see, you see inside, and this is why I thought like the contours are nice and it looked like an anatomical drawing. So after that, I need to rinse it. The biggest mistake when people are doing cyanotype is to not rinse well. If you still have chemical on it, so here I'm making sure it's well red, it will become yellowish and it will not look good. So here I rinse it well. Then it is, here we are. And then I'm putting it on a piece of newspaper with other newspaper on top of it. And I press well so all of the water is well absorbed for just a couple of minutes. Newspaper is easy, but you could use paper towel. But sometimes people who are used of old-fashioned wet photography used to suspend them. And then you have the clip, it drips and it doesn't, you just need to dry them to see. So let's do the other one, so you look. So here you see one of the big mistakes is to go and get the second sheet with wet paper, and then what you have is a little finger wet and proof everywhere on your image. So I dry my finger, I pick up the paper, or worse, to pick up the next sheet of paper with wet finger. And let's put that in water with a bit of peroxide. So you see. And obviously it's the magic of seeing an image being developed that everybody loves. And I love to. And obviously this is less. I don't like this one as much, but I'll show you. No, it's not bad. The angle was a bit low at 4 o'clock. So I find that it's not bad, it's getting there. And less like rabbit, but no, it's good there. So I'm showing you. Here, second test. But you see, it's inverse. So here, that little Altaglass rabbit put directly on the sheet of paper. So the last tip I have for you, so then I will do the same thing, I will dry it. So the last tip I have for you is that as soon as most of the water is absorbed from your paper, while it's still slightly humid, you put them in a heavy book. Here I taught art history all my life, so I have gazillion of art history book. And what I do is that obviously I put them with 2 sheets of paper. So that's one that I just did before of our same little rabbit. But if you press it well like that, you will be surprised to have a very nice smooth image. As otherwise what you will have is that is wet paper wrinkled to see. And then you try desperately to put it under the press after instead, and when it's still just that slightly humid, like 10-15 minutes later. So I'm encouraging everyone to do cyanotype with interesting object and to think of me and my muse, Anna Atkin. Otherwise, keep safe.